Ever tried to put together a store-bought piece of furniture without following the directions? It doesn't work out that well, does it? I spent years in my life trying to fix things, trying to make things right, and it didn't go the way I wanted. Didn't lead to some good times. Well, that's what happens when you don't follow directions. So today we're going to be looking at Proverbs 16, and I'm going to be reading on my little phone here. So let me go ahead and get to Proverbs. New Testament, Old Testament, Proverbs 16. Looking at verses 1 through 9. When I read these verses a while back, and it really hit home with me over the past few years. And so hopefully this will be able to be helpful to you too. So let me go ahead and read through it, looking at the first 9 verses, and I'll go ahead and put the text on the screen for you. Reading from the first verse, "The plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. The Lord has made everything for its purpose, even the wicked for the day of trouble. Everyone who is arrogant in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Be assured, he will not go unpunished. By steadfast love and faithfulness, iniquity is atoned for, and by the fear of the Lord one turns away from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little while with righteousness than great revenues with injustice. The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." That's a hard lesson to learn. The passage makes it clear that there's 2 ways of going about life. You can try to do it your own way and ultimately fail. You might have some successes, some short-term gains, may even become rich, but long-term, meaning looking at eternity, there's nothing to gain. It's, as the author of Ecclesiastes says, it's vanity. It's a waste. But on a more personal note for me, this really hit home because I spent the last 3 years, especially of my life, 3 years from the time I filmed this video, trying to fix my life. Trying to get us, meaning me and my family, back to where we need to be in my mind. And to have the life that I wanted to provide for them. It didn't work out. I went from one path to the other and nothing worked out. Nothing was coming to fruition. Had little bitty gains here and there, but ultimately it led to depression. And I'm going to share more about my journey with depression on another video. But for now, just suffice it to say that if you're going through a hard time, if you're struggling in life, trying to fix your own life, I understand. And if it's not working for you, oh boy, I understand. This passage in Proverbs says that when you try it your own way, the plans of the heart belong to man, the ways of man are pure in his own eyes. Yeah, my ideas were great. My plans were wonderful. Doesn't mean that they were the plans that were in alignment with God. Sometimes we have great ideas and they are what God wants us to do. God blesses those. But sometimes when we're doing it on our own, in our own power, I tried to live under my own strength, leaned on my own intellect, my own logic, my own mind, my own abilities. I can do this, I'm that, I can, I. And it didn't work out. God was sitting there going, what about me? What about me? And I'd forgotten about that. I needed to relearn it. And when I read this passage, oh boy, I'm sitting there going, yeah, I can relate to that. Been there, done that, still struggling with it. What I needed to do was, especially verse 3, to me, that is a key verse here. At least it was for me. Commit your work to the Lord. I wasn't doing that. I was committing my work to myself and my family, tried to justify it as the right thing to do because, well, it's for someone else. No, it was for me. I need to commit my work to the Lord. And if you're struggling with life, you don't need to stop what you're doing as far as trying to provide for your family or make your life better. What you need to do is stop trying to live for yourself. You need to stop trying to do things on your own. You need to have a greater resource. You need to have the ultimate source, as Dr. Evans pointed out a while back. You need to go to the source. The source is God. How do you go to God? Through Jesus Christ. Through His Son, Jesus Christ. Put your faith in Him. Seek His face. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. Not established by your power. I didn't establish my plans. I still, in one sense, would like to have more. But that may not be His plans. The plans will be established in His kingdom work. Verse 4, the Lord has made everything for its purpose that He has established. I have to find out what God wants me to do, and honestly, I kind of like making these videos. And I hope that they're helpful to you. If they are, then maybe this is what God wants me to do. Part of me thinks it is. But if not, that's up to Him. But I tried to do things on my own, and it failed. If you're trying to do things on your own, it's not going to work in the end. And the psalmist recognizes that that there are those who do reap benefits from their own efforts, on their own, for themselves, but ultimately, long term, what did they sacrifice for material gain? What did they sacrifice for greed? What did they sacrifice for their own pride? What did they sacrifice for their own egos? It's the same things you and I sacrifice. There are things that are more valuable. The intangible things, relationships, friendships, God. Well, He's tangible in the sense that He's real and can be, I'm digressing into a philosophical question. Suffice it to say, when we try to live on our own life, our own way, and this is the lesson I learned from this, I tried to live my life, my way, my rules, my power, my strength, my abilities, my knowledge, my wisdom, my intellect, my education. I have a PhD, done me a lot of good. It's all futile. It was when I went to God and said, God, what do you want? We need to live for God, for His kingdom. Trust Him. You may not understand it. It may not make sense to you. You may not see the answer, but that's where faith comes in. I still struggle with it. It's a daily endeavor. It's a daily journey. So I ask you to just take that journey, one day, one moment at a time. Have a good day. If you like this video and you found it helpful and you want to see more like this, be sure and click like, click subscribe, And then head on over to my Patreon page, because with your support, I can be able to create more content like this, create more videos like this, and hopefully be a blessing to you far into the future.